Hi, welcome to This Week in Gender, where in 10 minutes or less, we talk about gender. My name's Carlos. I'm the manager of online programming and community development at Gender Spectrum.
And I'm Lisa Kenny, executive director at Gender Spectrum. I give kind of a queen, like a royal kind of wave-like thing, but I'm watching too much of the Royals and the Crown or something like that. I don't know. Putting me on an airplane with downtime, a little catching up to do.
Hello, and welcome to This Week in Gender.
Hi, everyone.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. I missed you, Carlos.
Yeah, I
it's
missed you
nice
too.
to see you. I'm glad we've got this.
Yeah, it's been, what, 2 weeks? Because we filmed right before the holiday break.
Yeah.
And then we had the election, which was a somber episode, but...
It's been a tough time for the country, right?
Yeah. But now we're jumping into it.
That's right.
Do you want to go
first? So we're back.
Yeah.
All right. Well, some interesting data came out, and I just thought, a lot of people don't hear this because they're not living it like we are, and so I thought, I'd just present this week as my topic, and then you can talk about something more fun and interesting. But hopefully, people will find this kind of interesting. So,
I do.
Minnesota surveys its students like pretty much every state, but this year, for the first time, they included a question on gender identity. So. And the question, I think, was basically, do you identify or see yourself or consider yourself transgender or gender diverse? They had a few different ways in which they asked that. And it's interesting, 80,000 9th and 11th graders responded,
Wow.
and 2.5% identified as transgender or gender diverse.
Oh.
Now, that's an interesting data point. I think it's consistent, with, and that's growing. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens in other states and in other years. I think that probably given our experience in most schools, that's probably a little on the low side, depends on how you define that. But it's really an interesting thing to have for the first time, really, some real numbers. Now, it's unfortunate I didn't see Minnesota actually publish that. You have to look at it in the numbers, and there have been some independent people that have.
So they didn't specify that information?
No, like in their report.
But
then they didn't do anything with it. So obviously a good first start. Thank you, State of Minnesota, for beginning to ask the question. That's really key. Hopefully as a follow-on, we'll actually then take that data and really look and see what are we seeing in it. But it's an interesting thing, and it's a good reminder because a lot of what we hear in the work that we do is, how many kids are we talking about? And people want to think, we've never had a transgender, gender diverse kid in our school. And we're always like, you actually do. Well, if you don't know it, that's its own issue, right?
Right.
But, it isn't, we're not talking about, maybe you do, maybe you don't. You do, if you have any size school at all. And the Minnesota data is really nice in that sense that it just says, we're not talking about, New York City or San Francisco,
right.
Ways in which people dismiss what this is about. It's really nice to just say, hey, this is what Minnesota found, and the numbers were 2.5%. So anyway, I thought that was interesting, and I look forward to more states who begin to ask this question and getting more data so that we can just all better understand really what's going
Absolutely.
on.
Absolutely,
To meet the needs of students.
Do we know of other states that are doing it?
I mean, many states ask the question one way or the other. One thing would be really nice is if we could all ask the same question. We try to work with a number of researchers in how do we formulate that question. Because one of the things is it's hard to then compare data because we're asking different things in different ways. And often the way the question is being constructed is not that great to relate to how you think about it and the terminology that youth use. So I think that's one of the key things we need to get better at. But I think many states are, and we need to now, as with Minnesota, not only ask the question, but then extrapolate that data and begin to look at, okay, what does that mean? And how can we better serve that population of kids, just like every other population of kids? How do we make sure that all kids are getting a safe and good education in their schools? So anyway, an interesting thing out of Minnesota, 80,000 students, 9th and 11th graders, 2.5%.
Wow.
Transgender, gender diverse.
Go Minnesota.
Go Minnesota. Thank you, Minnesota. And thanks for making that data available because it's really important to so many. So thank you.
It is. Okay.
On a different note, okay, what's your topic this week? I'm really curious.
Tinder.
Tinder? All right.
So dating, online dating, I think it's mostly mobile.
Huge, though. I mean,
I have numbers. 50 million users every month, 12 million matches a day. To get the 12 million matches a day, 1 billion swipes
Wow.
So on Tinder, you
billion
swipe.
swipes. That
So
is
you see,
crazy.
you see someone on the platform. You see someone's profile picture. I think there's like a tagline or a headline, and then some brief stats on who the person is, and you.
I like the way you describe that. Like you've never.
Well, some people.
I'm just totally kidding. I'm not even actually. No, I don't even know if you have, but yeah.
Well,
no, it's
so
good that you
you're on
described
your
the
phone,
platform.
you're on the train, you're bored, you're going through. You swipe left if you're not interested.
Not interested,
You swipe
okay.
right if you are interested. So that to get to those 12 million matches a day.
That's crazy.
1 billion swipes.
Billion swipes.
What's interesting
That's
is
crazy.
yeah.
That's just crazy.
That's a lot of data. That's a lot of information. It would be fascinating to understand what they're pulling from all of this.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
But there've been issues around gender, right?
So the reason why we're talking about it is because they've decided last week that they are going to that they will, and they have a whole ad campaign now. Hashtag all types, all swipes is the name of the campaign. And specifically what it is they're moving beyond male-female binary. So you have the option when you're signing up or when you're selecting your gender. It's male, female, more, which I like because I don't like the idea of an other category.
Right.
And then more, you have 40 options to choose from.
Wow.
Now, we talked about previously Facebook elaborating on gender identity and expression and realizing that the prescribed amount of gender identities that they gave actually wasn't enough. So then they opened it up.
Right.
And Tinder's also doing that where you can select, in addition, they have the other option. But I think providing 40...
So it's kind of a custom option.
Exactly. There is a customization within the 40 additional options that they have identified. And they've worked with GLAAD, they've worked with researchers, sociologists, they've worked with the creative team behind Transparent to actually work on what this looks like. And it's really fascinating. There's this amazing video, I think it's like a short 5-minute video about why the CEO's being interviewed and saying everyone dates and everyone matters and everyone wants to feel loved and have that space to be able to pursue, love and happiness. On the flip side, and I wanted to ask you what your feelings were on this, is I read an article that was in New York Times. And then Salon put out an article saying that it's actually not a good thing that Tinder did this. Because looking at the crime rates in terms of what trans folks are being faced with, they're arguing that the geolocation that the app uses, because it's set within a certain parameter distance of where you are, proximity, they're saying that, well, people can use that against folks who identify as trans or non-binary or gender expansive, and can be targeted. But I don't know if I agree with that, because I think, one, giving everyone an opportunity and an equal space at the table to have a conversation, to be a part of it, to, again, pursue love and happiness is something that you can't say they shouldn't be doing, right? So I'm curious, what do you think in terms of, do you think that's something, I see it as a concern, but I think Tinder, with the amount of data, with the amount of money, with the amount of stuff that they have going on, that is something that they've absolutely identified. Because in the past, they didn't have a trans identity marker. So people who were trans were being flagged and were being blocked on the platform. But now giving them that space and the ability to select what their identity is prevents a lot of that kind of
and we
flagging.
know that beginning with the millennial generation, so the majority of millennials don't identify in a gender binary. So, so then everybody, it doesn't allow for the complexity that exists, even if people are still primarily within a traditional sort of identity around sort of being a woman or a man in the way that they do. But I think one of the interesting things is that around the Salon piece is that I think anytime you have the option to indicate who you are authentically, is a good thing. I mean, it's a good thing.
Absolutely.
I can choose to opt not to do that if I wanted to. Could it be used in the way that they're suggesting, where you then could target for hate crime?
Right.
To be honest, might you? I don't know enough about it. Maybe. But I would also say that it's also, yeah, I mean, you can't control the other side of a coin.
Right.
If something can help me identify people who I want to find to connect with me and I want to be able to connect with, whatever the context is, can somebody also use that against me?
Sure.
Sure,
yeah.
they can. But it's not as though people don't already know that and think about that. So
Exactly.
hopefully they will, and hopefully, it's just going to be a great thing. And I think certainly anything that acknowledges the experience of the human, situation that people can be themselves, that's a good thing. So
I agree.
Way to go, Tinder.
Yes.
I think that's awesome. And I think that's a really exciting thing.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, that's it for This Week in Gender. So make sure you join us next week where we talk about gender in
All right.
10 minutes or less.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great week.
Take care. Hi, Carlos here. To keep the conversation going, make sure you join the Gender Spectrum Lounge at genderspectrum.org/lounge. We hope to see you there.